Hey guys, today we're unboxing the Vortopt Ultra-Filtration system for under your sink. So we're going to open this thing up, see what's all included, get it installed, and try it out. Alright, so it comes well packaged. There is plenty of padding around this, so you don't need to worry about it getting damaged during shipping. And here is the unit itself. Alright, so I'm seeing an in and an out. So a couple things about this unit real quick. It does not require electricity, which is great. It's good for 2,000 gallons per day, which is tons of water. It's more than you're going to be able to use out of your kitchen sink. So that's great. And it lasts for 18 months before you have to service it by replacing the filter. So it's great for under your sink, basically maintenance free for a year and a half. Then you change out your filter, you're ready to go again. But it's going to remove chlorine, fluoride, smells, bad odors, things like that from your water. If you have city water like I do, it's gonna make your water a lot nicer to drink. So looking forward to having this installed. So let's see what they include here. All right, so they have this set up so you can set up your own little drinking water station right on the top of your sink. So you can have your normal water and your regular drinking water. So they do give you the spout for that if you want to do it that route. And then in here they have a little two-way valve, which is nice. You just put this in line. You hook your sink back up like it was, but you can run your PEX line, which they include here, off of this fitting to this, and then up to your spigot here. So, and then they have all the installation stuff required for that. So that's nice. They include all of that. Makes it easy. Then here's your instruction manual. It'll kind of walk you through. It is pretty straightforward. They do have a mounting clip here and some hardware if you want to anchor this down underneath your sink so it's not moving around. But everything looks pretty straightforward here. When we open this up, look inside here. All right, so there you can see your 4 stages of filtration. That's pretty cool. It goes through 4 steps to make it extra good, extra filtered. You got your, yeah, it tells you what each one is. And then these, you can just pop these out when you're ready to replace them. So they make that very easy. Why don't we go ahead and get this thing installed and try it out. All right, you're going to want to go ahead and clean everything out from under your sink to give you some space. And then just for size reference, this thing really isn't too large. You can see it easily fits in here. We even have a garbage disposal here, but there's plenty of room for this. You'll probably keep this over on the side here, which will leave lots of room for other things. For this adapter, this will work for 3/8 or half. Right now it's 3/8, but they send this little piece along. If you do have a 1/2-inch line, just screw that in. And then you can connect to your 1/2-inch pipe. So make sure you turn your water off, but we're going to disconnect our existing water line here. Your plumber would be able to do this if you're not interested, but if you have some basic hand tools around, that's probably all you're going to need. But I'll show you what I'm using here. So I'm going to start with an adjustable wrench. Then we're going to screw our adapter right on. Then we can hook our water line back up. That'll be just like it was before. Then we have another little valve here that we can use to run our line to this thing and then up to our new drinking water outlet. So now we have our splitter on our main cold water feed. So to install this, you're going to need to have a hole in your countertop. We currently have a soap dispenser, so I'm going to remove that. We're going to put this in instead. But you have a top cap here, which goes on like this, and then your nut underneath, which is going to screw on. Once that nut is on, this will be hard to show you later. They send a quick connect fitting. Underneath here, you're going to slip that quick connect fitting on here. And then this plastic hose will slide into that. So that's how you're going to attach. You're going to have to cut this in half. One line will come from your valve we just installed at that splitter, go into the in, and then out of this, and then connect to this. That's all there is to it. All right, now we're just going to take this, set it into that hole, rotate this, and this will be our control here. So now I need to go underneath and put the nut on the bottom. All right, so a little problem I ran into here. The faucet they send along has that much of thread engagement, which appears like it'd be fine. It sticks below here about a 1/2 inch. And this is an 1.25 inch thick countertop. The problem is the sink that is mounted underneath is another 1/2 inch thick. So the hole through the sink is actually about 1.5 inches. I mean, I need 1.5 inches of threads just to get through that, and then some additional threads to thread that nut on. So I can't use this. There's no way to extend this. So I'm going to need to purchase a different one. So this one doesn't actually match anyway. So if you want to use this one that they send along, you're going to need to make sure that the 1.5 inches of threads is going to be enough. So yeah, if you have a thickness of more than 1.5 inches, or really 1.25 inches to go through, you're going to need a different faucet. So I'm still going to hook this up for now, just so you guys can see and we can test it out. But I am going to have to get a different one of these, and we'll install that later, and I'll do that on my own time. But we can still hook this thing up and try this out. Or you're going to want to use a pipeline knife or a really sharp utility knife to cut it, because you got to have a really clean cut. If your cut isn't nice, it can mess up the gasket and you'll get a leak. So just make sure you use a really sharp knife or a pipe tool to cut that. Then one end of this is just going to slip onto your splitter that we installed earlier. Now that your hose is hooked up, you're going to take these 2 plugs out at the top here. You're going to take your line you just installed to your T and press it into the in connection, which is labeled on the top here. Just firmly press it in. You can test it by pulling out gently on it. If it pops out, it's not in the way. If it stays in, then you're good. Now we need our line to come out. Press that into there. Now if you remember, on the bottom of our water spigot, we slip this quick disconnect fitting here. Slips on like that. And then this one is going to slip on the bottom. Alright, then you can always get rid of this extra cord, cut this down to be shorter, or tuck away in the back. But now, that's all there is to it. You're going to want to turn your valve on down here and check for leaks. Now I can hear this filling up with water. And soon we're going to have water coming out here. Alright guys, remember, mine's not connected with the nut on the bottom because the screw wasn't long enough, so I'll be buying a new one of these, but I have it just pushed through here. You can see my hose connected here on the bottom, just so we can test it out. And when I first turned this on, I noticed the water was very gray, so you're definitely going to run it a little. There's going to be some sediment and stuff in the filter that's going to need to get washed out. So some air bubbles in there, but doesn't have a smell, so that's good. You can see that clearing out, getting nice and clear as those air bubbles rise to the top. It seems to be working really well. It's a nice filter. It's not too big. Fits in there. No electricity. 4 stages, so you know it's getting ultra pure. Like, look, that water is actually perfectly clear. Just puts bubbles into it. Just check your counter thickness. You might need to buy a different fixture here for this, which is what I'll have to do, but that's no big deal. Actual filter, I mean, that's a bonus that they even send that along. So we'll get another one of those. But all I needed to do the install was an adjustable wrench and a knife. So pretty easy to install. And water tastes great. So if you're looking for a nice, high quality water filter, easy to install, it's going to hold up for a long time, and you can get rid of this thing that you got to change your filters out every month. This is a great one. Make sure you check it out.